Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another Walking Dead video. This one will be a Q&A type of video after us just seeing the season premiere for The Walking Dead Season 9. In this one, we'll start with giving our thoughts on Gregory. So I thought that would be a good place to start with the Q&As for this week. And yes, spoiler warning, if you haven't seen the premiere for The Walking Dead Season 9 yet, I also did my review for the premiere, and we did predictions for the second episode of the season and what we think will happen during that episode. So still pretty satisfied with the season premiere episode, getting to see a lot of your guys' comments now. It feels like, as a majority, mostly satisfied. Some people thought the episode was kind of boring, but I certainly thought the ending of the episode was worth it. It was an extended episode, remember, so they included a lot of different sort of character scenes. And also, too, we got to remember that the show is going to change so drastically very soon. So any kind of final character moments they want to get in, they've got to do it now before episodes probably around 4 or 5 when something big happens here, and we'll see what it is. I still don't know. Luckily, it's I would say it hasn't been really... it's kind of spoiled, but it hasn't been like spoiled to the point where people know like all the details of every single line or something like that. Luckily, it's been pretty locked up this year, I want to say, in terms of, we know who's leaving, but in terms of how it's going to happen, we don't know that yet. So that's good stuff. So I thought we should do this one on Gregory. I'm going to call it Gregory's decision, but that's just to kind of keep it free of spoilers for anyone who didn't get to see the premiere. But yeah, so Gregory's time in the series. So he comes into the series second half of way back in season 6, is that right? Wow, that's a while, right? I mean, that is a while now if you think about it. It's like season 6, so we had back half of season 6 he was in that, all of season 7, all of season 8, now starting season 9. So he's, Xander Berkeley's character, Gregory's kind of, I don't want to say OG, but he's been in the series a while. He's been in the series longer than even like Ezekiel, for example. So he's been in the series for a while, and I was happy with this death. They used it in the season premiere to kind of add something to the episode, which I do think it probably needed that. I don't know if you didn't kind of put that in there, just them going to the museum by itself wouldn't have been, I don't think, enough to really make it a great season premiere for The Walking Dead based on what we're used to for Walking Dead standards. So I thought the final scenes of the episode and the premiere were really exciting and really added a lot to the episode. Without those, if you took out the stuff that happened at the hilltop and you didn't make an extended episode and you just had the rest of it be the episode, it would have been a pretty disappointing premiere, and I think there'd be a lot of people complaining. So I was happy with this one here. Gregory, been in the series long enough. We get the character, we get the idea. He was very similar to his comic book series counterpart, even right up to the end, and I did like how he sort of in this version just straight up attacks her. So he tries to attack her with the knife, and then he has Earl attack her as well, kind of talks him into it, and both times they both kind of lose. And she's able to survive and everything, even though she's kind of got like she's marked up pretty good on one side and everything like that. And and I thought it was pretty exciting at the end. So Boa Boy says, "Hey Gregory, how you hanging?" So I like that one. That was good. And White Katlyn 2021 said, "In season 9, the first episode, I got my wish. Gregory's finally dead." So yeah, so I don't think there will be any love lost for Gregory. I don't know if, he's kind of like a villain type of character anyway. He's sort of a character. He was one that was in strict compliance with the Saviors because he's kind of a coward and he's kind of a backstabber, and he's one of those type don't turn your back on him, he'll stick it in, right? So he's a backstabber type of character. So I'm glad that she put an end to Gregory, and it just takes out, he doesn't fit with the storyline anymore. Having him in the story right now with where things are going for the Whisperers, and now that All Out War is finished and everything, and Negan's kind of been defeated and is in prison and everything, of course there's going to be problems and there's going to be stuff happening, but Gregory's time in the series, I think this makes a lot of sense. Either you change the character, and people like that rarely change, right? So I thought it made a lot of sense they killed him off. I didn't, like, if you saw my predictions for this premiere, I didn't necessarily see it happening in the premiere. I didn't know what they were going to do as far as that went, but I thought it made a lot of sense, and it was pretty good to have as a character death in the premiere, because he is a character that's been around for a while. But anyone who's read the comic book series at the same time might not have been that amped to see it, because if you've already read the comics, it's not verbatim exactly, but it's pretty close. Just the method is a bit different, than in the comics. This one's just more blunt. But I liked it. I thought it was really good all around, and I'm not upset they killed Gregory off. I'm happy with that one. I think it was good, and I think his time in the series was coming to an episode anyway. So this episode was fantastic. The cast and crew nailed the vibe they were going for, and yeah, I thought so too. I thought it was good. In terms of the vibe of the series and kind of the direction in which The Walking Dead is going in, this is kind of the future direction of the series. We'll see going forward how people respond to it and how it's going to be different. You won't see as many cars being driven around and stuff like that, hardly at all. It's just going to be quite a bit different going forward. And I thought this was a good start to it, and it felt pretty natural. And the storyline, makes sense based on where they're at with it. So plus Game of Thrones is ending, so it kind of has a bit of a Game of Thrones vibe to it. It's people getting hung and horseback and carriage and blacksmith and all. It's cool and natural as well too. If you really think about it, it makes a lot of sense. So yeah. Mr.KwamiD said, finally they hung his ass. So that's good. Ethan Humphries said, old Walking Dead is back. So in terms of the filling of the series, well, All Out War was long, right? A lot of people probably thought it was too long. So All Out War is over now. It had its, I want to say, 2 years, basically. If you think about it, I mean, it was all of season 8. It was most of season 7, or at least it was kind of like, them being defeated by Negan and then kind of the build to the war. So it was like a 2-year storyline leading up, the introduction leading up to why they have to fighting back, and then full-on war for season 8, which, we all know how we feel about that one. But, this is more closer to like regular. Well, it's new, right? So it's different. It's got a different style to it, that's for sure. But the war's over now, so it's not the season 8 Walking Dead. It's not season 7 Walking Dead under Negan's thumb. It's kind of like more like the group is free again. All the communities are free. They're having trouble in and amongst the communities, so that's a bit new territory. We've never really had, I want to say, that type of situation happen where you have all the different joint communities and you're having so it's new in some ways, but it's more like the characters being free and just living, and maybe the viewers as well too, not feeling like we're under Negan's thumb, not feeling like, oh, the war's happening, it's going to be, so it depends what you like. But for a lot of people, I understand exactly what you're saying. You have kind of more like true Walking Dead being back in terms of the characters, in terms of how people are feeling, and in terms of it not just being a war with the fighting back and forth all the time, that kind of deal. It's more of kind of a living, type of situation, and the problems of life, the problems of living, the things that can come up, between the communities and all that, struggles for power and this type of thing, maybe something similar to like Shane versus Rick, that type of deal. Rogue Baker says, Trev, I can't even handle watching you as a walker, so I did the reviews or as a whisperer. He said, yes, I did the review as whisper, so that's fun, and I'm sure I'll get good usage out of the mask because, big episodes coming up soon, and certainly, we're going to see more and more whispers, I think, coming in before the season is the mid-season's over, that's for sure. So really cool stuff. SJ said, Gregory did not die. If you look closely, Nicholas gets in the way, and he gets hung instead. It's terrible. It is it's too many years, SJ. You can't keep using the Nicholas thing. People don't even get it now. They're like, who? Oh, right, yeah, season 6. It's like, it's too far gone now, man. Glenn's gone. It's too far. It's way too far. Nicholas and everything. It's too long ago now. It doesn't apply. Whatever. Yamster88 says a filler episode for a premiere. Wow, just wow. Well, I would say it's not I don't think it's a filler episode. It's a new beginning episode. It's a new start to the series. and it's not all out war. So you're probably not gonna see that kind of level of violence and group versus group stuff again in the series for a long time, probably, unless they do another war, which could be in a season or two. I don't know. We'll see. Brian Atcham says, "Poor Herschel Jr. How much must the kid suffer?" And it's true. He's like crying. That was a brutal scene, right? Because he's crying while she's fighting for her life, and the others are kind of coming in to try to help. So yeah, man, it was that was a good scene. I thought it was an exciting scene, and absolutely, Herschel Jr. is going to have a difficult life. There's no question about that. Carl could attest to growing up in the zombie apocalypse being difficult, right? Shane Spence says, "Walking Dead forever, Trev. Thanks for always making these great videos." So yeah, man, just going to keep right on going, right? We'll see how people feel about The Walking Dead in a year or two. We'll see what happens, but for now, and at least for this season all the way through, I'll let you guys know if anything changes, but we're looking to just basically go straight through and do what we're doing, and that's really all there is to it. And I don't expect, each episode we go through is like, we got to remember too, The Walking Dead has been somewhat of a spectacle type of series where every episode we look forward to, and every episode is going to be insane. And at the end of the day, we got to remember too, it is just a TV show, right? At the same time, so not every episode after hundreds of episodes should be like the season 7 premiere or something like that. There's going to be special moments throughout the series that really kind of stand out, or really big things that happen, and we're not always going to have those all the time. Sometimes it's nice to just get kind of like a I don't know if I call this episode relaxing. It certainly wasn't for Maggie, but kind of like a regular type of deal episode, rather than all out war with shots everywhere and huge herds of zombies and communities getting blown up and all this stuff, right? So yeah, man. Tim Eubanks said, "If she was so badass, she would have whipped the horse herself instead of having another do it. Like how Ned Stark would do the deed himself. Seems much more leader-like. Why does Daryl always do the dirty work, by the way?" And that's true. That's probably a big-time missed opportunity for them, for Maggie. I think that would have been good for her character to do it herself, right? As Eddard said in Game of Thrones, the man, or in this case, the woman who, this I forget the exact quote, but makes the judgment, has to be the one to actually service it, right? So if she's gonna sentence him to death by hanging, then she should be the one to carry it out herself. It should be with her hands that it's done. And I think that would have been more fitting. I think that would have made more sense. So that is a missed opportunity for sure. And I think that would have been better if they would have done it that way. I have to be honest with you. So and yeah, Daryl always has to do. Daryl always has to put everybody down and stuff. So yeah, man. Jack Goldberg said, "It's so hard to watch the scenes with Rick in them." And man, I agree 100%. It's really difficult to watch the scenes with Rick in them, for sure. Even the very first scene of the episode, I didn't cry, but because we'd already seen it released, but even just that right there, I was like, oh man, it is really sad to see those scenes with him, considering everything we know that already is going to kind of happen or is coming up soon. Toby TV Official says, "Poor Gimple, Angela Kang destroyed him." So already a lot of people comparing the style of season 9 to the style of season 8 and some of the prior seasons. But yeah, you guys do have to remember, he's still heavily involved with the series. It's kind of like the mainstream definition, or the popular opinion is, or thought is, that he's been fired, right? But he hasn't been fired. He got promoted. So it's Angela Kang's show now, but he's still heavily involved and helping guide her, I think, and everything, and also with the Fear group as well too. Even though with the Fear team, he probably spent more time this year, because it's a brand new team, in guiding them for season 4 of Fear. And he's like a villain of the Walking Dead production, right? Everybody he's a villain, man. They should just make a villain, in the future, a filler villain based on Scott Gimple, right? I don't know what kind of gimmick you give him, or the writer villain or something. I don't know. But everybody hates him so much, right? It's like it's awesome. Yeah, he's still involved. So comparing, and it's difficult to compare like one versus another, but I enjoyed the premiere, and I enjoyed both of their takes on The Walking Dead and the work they both do. To be honest, overall, they're both responsible for, the success of the series. Everybody is. Every single person that's involved with even down to the actors, the people who do the environments, the build up, all the sets and everything, they're all involved in delivering the episodes and making them as well as good as they can be. And Matt L. said, this episode was boring as shit, and I was still defending the show right up until the lame season finale. So, oh man, I didn't think it was boring. I mean, part way through, it's like, it's the regular kind of stuff. You get some exciting moments with Ezekiel almost falling through and stuff like that, and at the end, certainly awesome. But it's an extended episode, so it's a bit longer. I hear what you're saying, but it's like, I mean, it's Walking Dead, right? And Walking Dead's back, and it's not a big payoff episode. It's a start to something new, so that's what it is. And it's season 9 getting rolling. So at the end of the day, like I said, not every episode should be a spectacle type episode, and it's going to have the hype that certain seasons of The Walking Dead have had. But some of those big episodes are coming up pretty soon, and I don't think anybody will be saying it's boring by the time we roll around episode 5 or 6. That's for sure. Last one will be from Robert Collins Laponte, who says, Yo, Trev, I know you are happy about this, so I'm happy, man. I'm pretty happy with the premiere. I enjoyed it. You got to manage your expectations, too. You can't expect to see, I don't know, No Sanctuary every episode or something like that. It was great. I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm looking forward to... Remember, this is just one episode of 16. We get 16 weeks. Some episodes are extended. Lots more stuff coming up. 15 episodes still for the season. I thought it was a good start for the season. We'll see where things go from here, but I thought it was a good start to get things rolling. Just my opinion. You guys are certainly entitled to yours. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys thought about the premiere for sure. Send me more questions, because I'd like to do a couple Q&As this week for Walking Dead for sure. And... if you liked the video, thumb it up below. Check out the t-shirt store if you want to grab a Trev Chan 2 t-shirt. Got a Patreon if you guys want a tip, or leave a tip in the Patreon account. $1 a month or something is fine. And that's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another video. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.